Kids, how you doing? Today we're going to talk about mental illness and dementia, but mostly we're going to talk about dementia because I've been mentally ill for a long, long time. But this last April, I finally got diagnosed with dementia, medically induced dementia, actually medication induced dementia. I had been worried about it for a couple of years. It became a concern, but I actually finally got a doctor that said, yeah, this is what you have and this is why. I still have ongoing specialists to go see, so I'll go in more detail after. I don't know how this particular type of dementia progresses or if it has a name or anything like that, but I do know that some psych meds, when you put them together, can cause permanent brain damage. So I'm now a victim of that. I didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently after so many years of these drugs being out, they're learning that some of them don't play very well together. And that's just the psych meds. That's not to say that all my physical meds are playing well with my psych meds either, and not that anybody's really particularly studied that, which is even more disturbing because that can really be serious. Because some of my physical medications, for example, my psoriasis medication, has serious side reactions, mental illness side reactions, causing extreme depression and suicidal thoughts. And they warn about that before you take it. And how that particular drug plays in with the psych meds, nobody really has studied. So, things are still unfolding, but I do have the beginnings of some sort of drug-induced dementia. It shows up often. At this point, my mind goes blank. I don't remember things sometimes. Maybe sometimes I do. I have a flash, but then other times just complete blank. I'll be talking and suddenly I'll forget what I'm saying. I have long pauses where I'm searching for words. I start putting in a lot. And that's, it's a lot to deal with because I'm still conscious. I'm still conscious that I'm going unconscious. And I still give a shit a little bit. And until the dementia takes over and I stop giving a shit and I'm stop being aware that I'm losing my mind, it'll be easier, I'm assuming, because then you don't give a shit and then you're losing your mind and you don't care that you're losing your mind. But right now, I am still aware of it. So one of the things that struck me that I think a lot of people really need to hear, particularly as you're getting older, or if you have mental illness and you're able and you're functioning, but anything in general, as you get older, make sure that you don't hoard your knowledge. Like, I've learned so many things in life because I've had to deal with mental illness. I've had lots of training. I became a massage therapist and a truck driver, and I worked in the airline industry, and I became an esthetician and a Reiki master and all this stuff I've done. I have lots of knowledge about all different kinds of weird stuff. I read a lot still. That's how I'm trying to keep my mind from going to mush, is trying to read. But sometimes I'll be reading and I'll stop and not realize I've stopped, and I'll sit there and 45 minutes or an hour will pass. Literally, just boom, gone. Time flies by when you're losing your mind. So that's one thing that's important. Don't hoard your knowledge. Share it with as many people as you can. And those people that you care about, share your memories as much as possible. Make plans to do things. I mean, I've been trying since 2012. I think I had my first gathering with some friends from California, and every other year I've been trying. Every other year I've put on. I mean, I've been trying to get people to gather and share memories from high school and what's going on in life and everything else, because life is dynamic. And soon enough, we're going to be gone. I mean, myself and my class, in high school, we've already lost quite a few people, and I'm only 52. I feel like 152, but I'm only 52. So time is fleeting, and make those connections and take some time. I mean, it's, people talk about, oh, I'm too busy, this, that, work, excuses, 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 excuses. And then when it's too late, oh, it's too late, they die. And when I've seen some of my friends die, and this used to happen a lot when I was younger during the AIDS crisis, people were just dropping dead right and left, and people were regretting then not spending more time. But now there's really no excuse not to carve out an hour for somebody and get on and FaceTime or something. And certainly people can take a day, with notice, or a weekend with a lot of notice, and spend quality time with people that you care about, people that you've made memories with, things that are important to you. For 2020, I tried the concept of a cruise with like a 2-year notice. Sadly, it didn't work out. So, I guess 2 years was too much for people's mind to wrap around, but yet some people wanted that because they said that it would make it more affordable for them. But then when it was presented to them, silence. So at this point, I've kind of given up any more planning, because I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do that. And I don't want to get people counting on me if I'm not able to deliver. And planning to me is very important. I'm a very good group planner, but I don't want to let anybody down. And I try to be as accommodating as possible. And if I'm not thinking clearly, then maybe that won't happen. So in a way, I'm kind of relieved that I don't have any more plans. But on the other hand, I'm really sad because I was looking forward to seeing people on that cruise, especially the ones that did sign up and did step forward and do what they said they would do. So that was kind of sad. But one thing about dementia's hard. Dementia's hard all by itself. But having mental illness and dementia is really a kind of a roller coaster, especially if you're going through major changes with your mental illness. For example, in the last 2 years, I've gone through several medication changes. I've gone in and out of hospitals. And I went from having 7 voices in my head, which I'd had most of my life and was very used to now only having one. And sometimes that gets silenced because of the dementia. It just goes blank, and then it's just this emptiness inside. And going for, supposedly, doctor or therapist wise, it's supposedly a good thing to go from 7 voices to 1, which is supposedly normal. But we all know that normal doesn't exist, because it really doesn't. I don't care what anybody says. There's no such thing as really normal. But going from 7 voices to 1 is not really pleasant. It's actually, it leaves you feeling lonely. It leaves you with less opinions, less feedback, and it makes fighting suicidal thoughts a lot harder. When you have 7 voices constantly arguing, no one comes to a consensus, and therefore nothing gets done. But if it's just you and suicide, it's a lot more intense experience. I can tell you that from personal experience. I don't have suicidal episodes often, but I sure had one in June, and it was really shaky. It really shook me up, because I nearly didn't make it, to be honest with you. I nearly didn't make it, because at the moment I start planning my own suicide, I'm as good as dead, because I will plan it meticulously so it goes off without a flaw. And fortunately, I haven't gotten there yet. But the minute I do, It's toast. It's over with. Sorry, we're having a storm again. Fourth one, I think, today. Um, so being alone inside my head was harder to deal with the thing of suicide than with the seven voices, which is more of a committee. Um, so for therapists and people with mental health issues that are split inside, sometimes the split's there for your own protection. And instead of fighting it, maybe you should embrace it like I did, because I actually liked having the seven voices. Yes, they could be distracting at times, but they could also be very helpful. And it also kept me out of a lot of situations where I could have gotten hurt or killed or infected or something else. So I didn't have those. I mean, I was very fortunate. And the unfortunate thing is that I'm a genetic cesspool, and I can't help that. That was the way I was born. That's what my biological parents gave me, who I don't know. So my whole life is like this unfolding mystery. And it's not cute, especially if you're seriously, sorry, this is where the dementia comes in. I forget what I was talking about. So I'll go on. How annoying. Sorry. Anyway, I came here to talk about mental illness and dementia. I'm sorry, I think I just blanked out completely. That's been happening a lot more. It's frustrating for me. I'm sure it's frustrating for you watching. It can be probably uncomfortable. I don't mean to be uncomfortable. I hope I wasn't out for a long time. I'm not gonna check this video till afterwards, and I'll probably leave it in because that's what really happens to me all day. I just lose it, just blank out. And last night, I really haven't been widely talking about my dementia diagnosis, which I got in April 2018, widely with a lot of people, because it's already disturbing enough to have a friend that's mentally ill, and that's a lot for people to absorb. But then to find out they have dementia too seems to be upsetting to a lot of people. And I don't want to be that guy, but I am that guy. Sadly, I am the crazy guy that's now got dementia. And as you notice, I'm losing weight. I've lost a lot of weight. I've lost close to 30 pounds, I think. More than 20 pounds this year alone. And it's just been dropping off, and I'm not trying. So the doctors are concerned. They're going to be doing tests next week if I don't end up in the emergency room again. They're going to do tests next week to find out what's wrong inside me, because there's something that's causing a horrible pain that's on and off. I'm not able to eat like I used to, and I get constantly nauseous, and I've been vomiting a lot of my food up and not being able to keep it down. So that's obviously helping me lose weight, but it's also hard for me to keep my medicine down, because some of it I have to eat with food, and if I'm constantly purging, I can't just keep taking medicine. That's not the way it works. That's not the way pharmacies work. That's not the way the insurance industry works, and that's not the way my body's working anymore. So it's all kind of coming together in this like hateful little cluster that I'm trying to navigate. And the eating thing is becoming a thing with me. It's becoming a trauma, to the point where whenever I think about food, I get nauseous. And if I think about it or I see it on TV, sometimes I retch just thinking about it. It's becoming a thing. And I've talked to my doctors about it, because it can't stay a thing. It just can't. I mean, I have nausea medication, but I can't take too much of it because it causes something that I have a problem with, which I get serotonin syndrome relatively easy. And the best nausea medicine has a side effect of giving you serotonin syndrome. If you don't know what serotonin syndrome is when you get too much serotonin in your body starts to race and it feels like you're having a heart attack, a real heart attack. And it's a perfect mock of a real heart attack. And it's freaky and painful and scary, and you don't want to have it. It's just something I can tell you. I've been through it once where I was rushed to the emergency room, and it's not cute. And I didn't have it because of the nausea medication. I had it because of a psych med some time ago called Geodon. That was the side effect of Geodon that I didn't know, but I certainly discovered it. My body seems to discover side effects without me ever reading about them, which also sucks because I seem to have lots of side effects to things, and that's not good. But I've talked to my doctors about just quitting everything and not taking any more medicine and wondering how long I live, and that's kind of up for debate. So right now I'm just kind of wasting away, pasty and wasting away. And losing my mind at the same time with a crazy mind. I'm losing my crazy mind. So it's kind of a blessing, kind of a curse. But I did want to get the message out that share the knowledge that you have while you have it, and enjoy the memories that you made with the people you made them with as long as you can. Because one day, without you knowing, something could happen like it's happened to me, and it'll snatch it all away from you. And suddenly you won't remember anymore. And suddenly you won't care anymore. And then those people don't exist. They're not even ghosts in your mind. They just don't exist. And that's emotional. To realize that you just write people away. Your mind just does that. And you can't help it. And it's not something you try to do intentionally, but your mind just erases things. It erases people. It erases events. It erases history. It erases your knowledge of things that you studied or that you care about or you learned. And then it just gives you little pictures, little glimpses of what was, and maybe an emotional reaction. And when you start losing your memory and you start getting dementia, you will get more emotional. But not just teary emotional, but you also get crankier. And you can be really cranky and really angry, especially if you don't know what's going on. Because dementia sneaks up really slowly. And I think the only reason I caught it was because I do these videos, and I saw myself being unable to communicate like I used to, and wondering why I was adding all the time, and why I was blanking out or searching for words or things that I started doing over the last few years more and more frequently. Plus feeling confused at home or embarrassed because someone pointed out to me that I had forgotten something or I had screwed something up because my memory wasn't as good. And I've had doctors tell me, oh, well, you are getting older, which certainly I am. Everybody's getting older every second. But that wasn't an answer I thought I needed to hear at 48 or 49 or 50. Maybe something at 60, 70, 80, 90, maybe 100. Yeah, okay, I can understand that. Not at 40 something. And I guess this is medically induced, and I was taking this combination of medication, which I guess now is known to cause dementia, a medically induced dementia, which is not irreversible, as far as my doctor has told me so far. And again, I'm going to see more specialists. But to realize that you've already lost, you don't even know what you've already lost, and you're going to lose more. and you're not sure when, and you're not sure how. It just kind of unfolds like a mystery. Um, it's kind of like having chronic diseases, which, like I said, I'm a genetic cesspool. I got plenty of those. Um, and, I remember in my diabetes when when I first got it, I didn't know anything about diabetes. I didn't know diabetes from anything. And suddenly the doctor told me I had that. And then the next thing I know, um, my feet started tingling and burning and feeling weird. And then it never stopped. And the sensation went away. Any measurable type of sensation went away. And then I had to have special shoes and I couldn't walk barefoot. And then my hands, which are skilled tools, which I trained to do massage and touch therapy, suddenly started to have the same reactions as my feet. The tingling and the pain and the numbness, and the losing the sensation of touch, which was for many years, that's how I made my living, was touching people. And now I can't. Not only because of the neuropathy, but also because I have psoriasis and I have psoriatic arthritis, and particularly in this index finger, it is agonizing. Like my whole hand can do this, but this finger can't. It doesn't even work anymore. The joints don't work. They're swollen. They're red and they're swollen. So as you watch yourself break down, and then you realize, okay, I'm breaking down, and I can deal with that. I mean, I realize everybody's got to go through whatever they're going to go through. We all have our path. But to get to the point where you don't even realize what's going on anymore, or you're forgetting and you don't know what you're forgetting. So is what you're saying even making sense anymore? Or is it even relevant anymore? Because I see, as time changes, as we all get older, we all become kind of dinosaurs in our own way. And I've always tried to stay at least conceptually modern, at least understanding like the modern world, even though I'm not part of it anymore. And I realize that, and I don't necessarily want to be. I kind of like being a dinosaur, like I like being a crazy person, like I like, I have to embrace, you have to embrace life, is what I'm trying to say. And you have to embrace your life, whatever that road is. Don't beat yourself. Life is hard enough. Do not beat yourself up because you have health issues, or you have mental issues, or you have relationship issues, or addiction issues, or you have whatever it is, whatever cross that is that you're bearing, or crosses that you're bearing. You're not the only one. Now, you can be a victim, or you can just enjoy what you have while you have it and laugh. I often tell people, if I ever stopped laughing, I'd start crying. I don't think I'd ever stop. Seriously. And as you get dementia and with mental illness and all these medications and stuff, and just natural age for males in general, males get more emotional easier as they get older because the testosterone levels come down naturally. Now, I've had low testosterone from early. So, and for some years I was on testosterone replacement therapy because my testosterone had gotten really low. And that therapy had actually kind of helped my body speed up again. But I also went through like a puberty where my voice got deeper. And I've never had I fought not to have a deep voice in high school when I went through puberty because I wanted to do drag. And who needs a deep voice if you're trying to be a bitch? Just saying. So I fought to keep it up. And then I regretted that later in life because I thought because when I used to hear my own voice, it was like nails on a chalkboard. It was high and squeaky and effeminate disgusting, and I didn't like it. I wanted to have a low baritone voice, which I was heading towards as I went through puberty the first time. I artificially got there the second time. But amazingly, when I first made my very first video, amazingly, the very first comment was of somebody that didn't know me said, "Wow, you have such a soothing voice." And I had heard absolutely the opposite my whole life. Whenever I heard my voice, I just went, ah! I wanted to pull my skin off and jump out of the body. But then I got 3 comments in a row, like, "Wow, your voice is so soothing." And I never thought of it that way. So then I thought, well, okay, if they think so, keep talking. So here we are, probably 3,000 videos later, but a lot of those videos were erased earlier because at one point I just thought, why am I going to keep this? And sadly, I wish I hadn't erased. I erased almost 1,100 videos of me just talking about random things and life and things I've learned and stuff. And that was back when I could speak. And now I struggle with even the desire to make the videos because I just don't feel like it anymore. I just don't give a shit. Frankly, as I'm losing my mind, I'm giving a shit less about everything. Not that I gave a shit a lot most people, as they get older, they stop giving a shit. They just do whatever they're going to do. I was like that as a teenager, but it's really on steroids now. So what little shit I did give is pretty much getting wiped out. Which is kind of fun. If you like that, I adore that. I love old people, and I love when they're just unchained, and I love to the ability that I had to be as unchained as I have been my whole life. Being even more unchained is something that I think I'm going to relish, as long as I understand that's what's happening. It'll be fun. Anybody that has known me for any length of time knows how devious my sense of humor can be and how twisted I am. So it should be fun. And I'm sure I've been on every subject now under the sun, and it looks like I've been on this video a lot longer than I thought. It feels like 5 minutes. It looks like 28. So I'll let you go. I know most people won't watch this anyway. It's just for me kind of a historical thing again. So I can monitor my own progress as I fall apart, basically. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.